My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. This is episode number 10 of our O Canada Let's Play series. In the previous episode, number 9, we set up the start of our passenger network as we linked the cities of Calgary and Cochrane together with a passenger line. And at the end of the episode, we also said we were going to expand the network even further and head out towards Okotoks and that area of the map. And holding true to that, that's what we're going to look to achieve today. As we can just doubtless tell, one of our trains has just arrived here at Calgary. He only has 6 passengers on board. However, in the future we hope to see a lot more uptake in passenger numbers on our passenger line. But for now, that's okay. So these are running at a loss, as we can see, but we can absorb the loss thanks to our very profitable freight lines in the Rocky Mountains, so it's not too concerning at this point in time. Now, if you did miss our previous episode, it may be worth subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you do that, I'll be eternally grateful, and it would mean a lot to me. It also means you'll be able to get notified of any future episodes as and when they are released as well. So let's make a start then. In the last episode we did make a start in extending the lines out this way from the station. However, that was just for decoration rather than an actual true representation of what the lines will end up looking like in the future. However, we'll stick to it for now since we have them here ready to go, and we'll go ahead, take our track tool, and we're just going to extend this line here straight across this river over towards southeast Calgary. I nearly said northeast there. So yes, we'll put a straight bridge right across this river. This does keep this waterway open for ships if we opt to use any water transport in the future. It's not guaranteed, but it's nice to have the option and not to limit ourselves any more than we necessarily have to. Obviously at this point we will need a diamond so the trains can switch tracks and platforms without any issues. However, I am having issues apparently putting in the diamond itself, so let's just try it again, shall we? We put a short diamond in. That will reduce the speed on the diamond, but that's okay, they are coming into a station anyway, so that's largely irrelevant. And now we can continue on with the track laying out towards the first town we're going to hit is Okotoks. I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of this town. If anyone does know, feel free to correct me phonetically in the comments, and I'll make every effort to use correct pronunciations from here on out once I've been corrected. Anyway, enough about that. What we want to do is decide how we're going to get around the district of southeast Calgary. Now, I am acutely aware that over here we have the residential zone of southeast Calgary, and I don't want to run the trains too close to that because they will have a negative impact on noise pollution and emissions. One option is we could tunnel underneath like we did over towards northwest Calgary. I got it wrong. See, we tunneled underneath. If you remember in the last episode, we could do something similar here. However, there isn't much scope for that because the land is a lot flatter. So it may be a case of the residents here just have to... Oh, I tell a lie, perhaps we can tunnel underneath. Quite extravagant, and it is quite costly to do this. However, as I said in episode 9 when we were setting up the first line, if we have the money to do something like this, it's worth doing, especially as we're going to benefit in the long run when we have far less noise pollution for the residents to contend with, which obviously negatively impacts your growth. And we want to give them every advantage possible, so by tunnelling underneath we're giving them that advantage. Okay, so the land here drops off a lot more than it seems to do, hence we've had to... Oh, it's suggesting that we use a bridge here. I prefer not to use a bridge, if I'm honest. I'd sooner we go for earthworks at this point. It doesn't look too bad with earthworks, let's be honest, so we'll do that and we'll straighten the track up because he has gone off on an angle there. We don't want that, we want to keep him straight. Now, looking ahead, we can see the land rises quite precariously once we cross this river, so that's something we're going to have to bear in mind although it does seem to be a bit shallower over here to the left. So perhaps we'll come across the river and then head left and then double back up here towards the town of Okotoks. Now, we don't want to lose that much elevation if I am being honest. Not only because of the slowdown, although saying that, that would produce an almighty bridge. So let's just see how can we handle this. Again, we don't want a bridge there, please. And again, I've veered him off to the right, although saying that, that's what I was planning to do over the river. So it would make sense to do it at this side of the river, then we've given ourselves a run up for the curve. And then by giving ourselves this run up over this side of the river, it makes it less aggressive over here. So yes, we will start heading left. Now, just looking at the track from ground level, that does veer off downwards quite alarmingly. We could take some of the edge off without going too crazy. I'm thinking about how tall the bridge is going to be. I think that should be tolerable without looking ridiculous, but we'll find out now when we actually span the river itself. Let's have a look. Yes, that doesn't look too bad at all, if I'm honest. We can live with that, or at least I can. Anyway, let's move on. So there's our bridge. We've now traversed the river. We now want to start heading a bit further left and then heading right up this hill here where the gradient and the slope isn't as aggressive. So let's take off the automatic slope or the override slope and let the game decide for us. And once again, we're going to go with earthworks as opposed to a bridge. And now we're... oh, that's not too bad. We can have a cutting here with the looks of it and it won't look too ridiculous. But we do need to start heading upwards. And it does look as if this is a bit steeper than I originally bargained for. Indeed it is. And I think that's already at maximum height or maximum elevation. So we're going to have to see what we can do with this here. Okay, it's going to put us through a tunnel. Okay, yes, we will accept the tunnel. I don't know why I had to say we will several times, but there you go. Okay, now we need to plan out where we want the train station to be located for the town of Okotoks. Obviously on this side, as we're looking at it now, we have the residential area. I believe we'll confirm that by using the land use layer. Oh no, it's commercial. Excellent, so we could have the station this side of the town, and the pollution, the noise pollution from the trains, the emissions, should be well away from the residential area, that it won't be impacted too severely. Okay, so let's decide where we want to actually put the station itself. We want, I'm going to say 2 tracks for this one, and we'll keep 160 meter length. Perhaps if we put the station somewhere like this, that will give us plenty of scope to put in our passenger interchange for our road vehicles. And it will also give us a decent enough angle to connect in to the awaiting line. However, this does mean we're going to have a diamond on a corner, which can sometimes play silly buggers when you're trying to put it in, but let's see how we get on. Oh, we got it right first time. Excellent. So now we have the connection to Okotoks from Calgary. Before we set the line up, however, we are going to want to put some signals down, and we're going to need a bit of blocking. As I said in the previous episode, I'm going to avoid putting the signals inside the tunnels at this point because they are not illuminated, and as I explained, in my headcanon, the engineer would struggle to see the signal in the dark tunnel, so we'll keep them out of the tunnels for now. However, as we progress through the eras and we unlock the electric signals and the light signals, we can then start putting them in the tunnels without ruining my immersion too much. I think that's not gonna work at all. And I've made that mistake before, and I've spent about half an hour trying to find out what the issue is. So I'll correct it now while I see the mistake. Anyway, we do have, in fact that's probably, if I'm honest, too many blocks. We don't need that many, so we'll get rid of one block. Okay, so the question, oh no, don't get carried away. The passengers have no way to get to and from the station over here yet, you dingus, so let's get this set up first, shall we? Let's be, thorough. Let's get everything done correctly. Okay, can we get a connection to the station? Indeed we can. How far can we center it before it loses it? That looks about the maximum, which is ever so slightly off alignment with the station, which is annoying, but we'll have to live with it. Like we did in Calgary and Cochrane, we'll have electrified tram lines, even though we have no electric trams at this point. Obviously, as we progress, we will start unlocking them, so we may as well future-proof our network now, so they can be dropped in straight away as soon as we do have access. And then we'll go ahead, and again, like we did in our previous episode, we'll lay in the foundations for the metro. And I'm thinking straight away we'll head down here, straight down, and then we'll connect across here. We are going to have to demolish this building for that, but such is life. And then we'll loop straight back around, down here, yes, down here. That will suffice. Clearly we are going to need some roadside stops in the city as well, so we'll do those as well. And just like before, we'll have two lines, one running in either direction, so we want the stops to be on both sides of the street. That will be a nice quick early metro for Okotoks. So now we can actually get the metro lines set up. So let's do that. We'll start at the annex, we'll rename that in a few moments, and just loop around like that. He will redivert himself because the tram can't get down here, we have no tram line, so he will loop back around that way correctly once we get the trams running, so we don't need to concern ourselves by that. And this is Metro Okotoks, is that correct? 01. And then we want Metro Okotoks 02. There we go, just following it the same way around, but in the opposite direction, so not the same way around at all, so ignore that entirely. And this is Metro Okotoks 02. We want a depot, otherwise we have no way to get the trams on the line, so we'll put that just here. Yes, he has catenary, and we want to set it back so we can remove any traffic lights that may spawn. And we do want it electrified, even though it's not necessarily needed at this point. Okay, so we can't connect. Oh, that will do. It'll do. It's not the best, but it'll do. Let's just rename this to Okotoks Station Exchange, like so. And then we can go ahead and purchase our first set of trams for this town. I think we'll go for 8. So that's obviously going to be 4 per line. And they were purple and salmon. So we'll colour them the same colour as their respective lines, and here they come now. And as we see, as predicted, our lines have rerouted themselves correctly. Although I'm not sure what is happening here. Let's just investigate what Metro 02 is doing. Did I select... Is he perhaps stopping at the wrong stop at Adams Street? Let's have a look. There we go, that's better. It looks like the first line is doing something similar here, so we'll just change that like so. And we'll just verify the others aren't doing some crazy nonsense. Doesn't look like it. Just the 2. And they're now all fixed. Okay, so now we can actually determine if we want to put in a separate or a new dedicated line from Okotoks to Calgary, or do we extend the existing line so it comes from Cochrane all the way through. I think for now, to keep costs down, we will just modify the existing line to include Okotoks. So what you want to do is, after Cochrane, come here. Yes, I know it appears twice. It won't for long. There we go. And then you come out of Okotoks to Calgary to Cochrane, back to Calgary to Okotoks. Yes, that's correct. What we'll also do here is put him on separate platforms, like so. So we have a northbound and a southbound platform, so to speak. And that should help with spreading the passengers out between the two, depending if they're heading to Cochrane or if they're heading out towards Okotoks. Now, this name isn't quite fitting anymore, so shall we call it the Intercity Mainline Calgary, just because I imagine we're gonna have a few main lines, for example over the other side of the mountain range, and we want to distinguish between the two in future. So with half a mind on that, I'll include the town name, the primary town name, immediately. Okay, so now that that is running, and hopefully we should start seeing passenger generation. Let's see where they're heading. So we have one heading to the station, another one there, and one there. So 3 people are already heading to the station. So we will have our first passengers in the not too distant future. Now, do we want to continue outwards towards High River and perhaps Nanton? I think so. We may as well, there's no harm in doing that. Now, I've just had half a thought, and I'm going to put a third track into the station at Okotoks, because I'm likely in the future going to have not so much a shuttle service, but a commuter service between Okotoks and Vulcan. So that's what this platform is going to serve, platform number 3, while our original 2 will serve as a north-south all the way down to Nanton. So then our Calgary main line will go from Cochrane down to Nanton, and the trains can have a north-south platform at every town along their way. You'll see what I mean if that doesn't quite make sense, or if I haven't explained it properly, which is very possible. But for now we'll press on and start heading out towards, what town was it called? High River. So we'll run the track out. We'll put a diamond up here, which leaves us enough space if I actually, complete it. Because that leaves us enough space to extend the station this way, because we're limited out that way because of the bend in the track. Because obviously in the future we may have much longer trains than we have at the moment. Right, we can't cross there. I think it's because of this junction here. However, that isn't needed. So let's get rid of that and then just cross straight over. Keep yourself level, just to ensure we have a smooth level crossing. There we go. Yes, that's lovely and smooth. And then we want to head off to the right because we're heading to High River. Again, let's just have a look at the land usage. So our residential is down here, so ideally we're going to want to have our station out in this way, but we do have this shallow depression here, but which means we would have to drop down, or would we? Yes, we'd have to rise here and then drop down, and then as we leave High River, I keep forgetting the town name, we're going to have to climb up to get to this elevated plateau where Nanton sits. However, I think that should be manageable. Although we could... I mean, we could put the station there, to be fair. But then we'd have to... No, we'll just put it down here. We'll just go with what I wanted. We'll go with a gut instinct, so to speak. We'll put him down there. And then we want to close that. And then just connect this to the tracks that we've started laying. And there... In fact, we'll keep it straight for now, because we may want to extend the platform, so we'll not limit ourselves by curving straight out of the station. And then you want to cross over here. Yes, that's fine. It does lift the road up somewhat, but it keeps the track level, which is more important. Yes, that's okay. Doesn't bump the track at all, does it? No, it doesn't. Excellent. And then it's just a simple connection now to the awaiting lines that are there. Here we go. Nice and simple. Perfect. We need a diamond down here. And again, if we just set it away from the station just a fraction, well, more than a fraction, it gives us opportunity to extend the platforms in the future. But I'm struggling. Oh no, there it is. So once again, we want the signals on this stretch of track, like so. And we'll have 2 blocks along here. We'll have one there, and then we'll have one here that staggers the level crossing. That should work. Yes. Again, before we extend our train line, we do want to connect the station to the city via some roads, so we'll do that. So again, we'll get a direct connection there. That's a truck station, you idiot. Let's try that again, shall we? My days. That's what we want, passengers. I mean, if they want to ride in the back. Anyway, let's now connect this into here. What's the... Oh my god, that's horrendous. Are we gonna have to... Can we stretch it out a bit further? To take the edge off somewhat? That's better. So much like we have to do in Cochrane, we're clearly gonna have to go out of our way to connect in, but that's fine. And then we want to extend that and then connect. How does that... Oh god. Okay, so let's take him back to there, and instead we'll do a direct link, and that should spread the gradient out a little nicer. Yes, kind of, yes. Well, it's certainly better. It's not ideal, but it's better. And then it's just a simple case of laying the metro line through the city. And we need to do a few manual connections here, like that, and like that. And then we are sorted. Yes. So let's get the metro depot. And we'll keep it out of town. In fact, we can put it on the edge of this road here. Ready-made, look. Ready-made. There we go. That's not straight, but that's fine. I'm not going to bother changing it. Where are we now? Yes. We want the roadside tram stops. And it goes without saying we're going to have 2 lines in opposite directions, so double stops either side of the road. That should do for now. A nice simple loop. So new line, and we are heading this way initially, and then new line heading this way. I'll check. Oh no, those, yes, I suppose they've got just enough contrast or the difference that I can tell them apart without struggling with my colour blindness, so we'll keep that as it is. And this is Metro High River 01 and 2. There we go. Rename this Station Exchange. You should just be called High River. Indeed you are, that's perfect. And you are just called Okotoks, yes you are. So let's purchase our first load of trams, and again we'll go for 8 and we'll have 4 per line. So let's get them filled in as per usual. There we go. Off they go. Okay, so now we may as well amend the train line to reflect the new station that we have, the new connection. That's not amending a train line, that's amending a vehicle. There we go. So after yes, Okotoks, then High River, and then back to Okotoks. Yes, you've opted for the different platforms in and out, which is what you need to do. And then after Okotoks, you're still heading back to Calgary, and your platform assignment is still good. Okay, so we've done a big extension to our passenger lines. We've run all the way out to High River, and I think we've got the time to finish it off all the way out to Nanton. While we're in the zone, why not? So let's see, first of all, where do we want the station? I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put a connection between these two roads, and then we're going to have a terminus station in this direction here. So let's go ahead and do that. Like so. How's the ground? We probably want to flatten an area out for ourselves, so let's do that. Flatten tool. There we go, that should be plenty to work with. Just smooth the edge off where it meets the road. There you go. And now get the station, as we said, terminus. 2 platforms is more than enough here. And you can just directly connect to the road. There you go. Are you heading the right way? Yes, we could bring him around there quite comfortably. So let's go ahead and lay the track. Again, we'll run out flat for a short while to allow for future extension and elongation of the station if needed, which it probably will be as soon as we get, when we start getting longer and bigger trains. So now we can continue outwards, and that's a 70-mile-an-hour turn, which is perfect. And we should be able to now connect in quite comfortably. However, I'm going to run the tracks out again as per usual, like so. Don't know what it was trying to do there, but it's certainly not what we needed it to do. There we go, that should be enough expansion space, because we do have expansion on the opposite side as well. Yes, we've got plenty of room to elongate the station in future. And now, what sort of connection will you provide? That's not too bad. It does obviously climb up, but we knew that was going to happen when we put the station where we did. And that was very simple. So let's just do the finishing touches with our signals. How many blocks? We'll have just one, I think, is going to be enough for here. There we go. And then we want to do in fact, we'll just do a bus service in Nanton, I think, rather than a tram. So let's get the roadside bus stops. We're going to clearly need some here and here for the station. And then we'll just do the usual tactic through the town itself. Obviously these are buses, so they can have shorter distance between the stops. Like so, and that should give us a very good coverage for the entire city and provide a decent base to build from. So now let's draw the line. There we go. And then we want the second line like so. And these are bus service. So there's our 2 bus services. I'm just going to rename this to put the numerical identifier at the end. What do we need now? We need a road depot, don't we? Yes. And you can go... In fact, you can come here, just out of town, just a fraction. In fact, no, you can't, because that's ridiculous. Let's put you down here then instead. Yes, so let's get some buses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 stops. So we're probably going to want 5 buses per line, so we'll call that 10 total. So let's quickly sort these out now. So there's the first 5 and the second 5. Okay, so lastly, we want to now head from High River to Nanton and then back to High River. Yes, that's fine. Yeah, you've done the right thing there. And then back to Okotoks. So there we go. Our first mainline stopping service has been completed. And we've also unlocked a new train, the 260 Mogul. While we're in the zone with our trains, let's go ahead and see what sort of difference he's going to provide. So the power's a little bit less, as is the speed. And the acceleration is also worse, so we'll retain the INEO on our passenger lines for now. It's doing a good job for us. Just having a look now at the stations, we have much more passenger pickup, which is very nice to see. Likewise over in Cochrane. In fact, oh, we can just about all squeeze on. There's 47 and it's a 4-chain capacity train. So that's lucky. Okay then, so I think that's a natural point to call an end to the episode. We've extended our first main line from Calgary all the way to Nanton via Okotoks and High River. We've also put the first intra-city or inner city transports for the 3 towns that we've just worked with. So it's been quite a productive episode, and as we can see, most of our stations, but not all of them, most of our new stations have at least a handful of passengers waiting to use the new mainline service. Okay, so as I said, what we'll do now, we'll call an end to the episode. It's a natural point to leave it after finishing our passenger line, and in the next episode I'm not sure what we'll do next. Probably do a bit more freight work, I think, or I might even start a passenger line up to Canmore, because that's going to encourage us then to start heading a passenger line through the Rocky Mountains, and that's going to be quite exciting to do. Obviously we have the freight line already, but it would be nice to get some passengers up there as well. So I hope that you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please consider leaving a like, and if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below. All that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take the very best care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now.